Welcome back, everyone. This is Joseph with the My Cross, His Grace podcast radio. I thought today that we would talk a little bit on the subject of third order Catholics. You ever hear of them? Most likely not. And yet it is something that some of us, traveling to the airport, in community, when I say in community, on the street possibly, in some city, someplace, a park, whatever, may encounter somebody who is, let's say, a third order Catholic, clergy, but may not know exactly what it is they're looking at, even though they think they know exactly what it is that they're looking at. What are we talking about? Okay, follow this, because it sounds confusing, and it's going to be confusing to some people, most especially to Catholics themselves. But it's a subject of interest to, let's say, the religious communities overall, people generally, and to all Christians. So let's get into it a little bit. Third order Catholics. It may be a loose term. Let me clear it up a little bit. Under some or after somebody's name, you might see a reference TOR or TOS. TOR stands for Third Order Regular, and TOS is Third Order Secular. So what we're talking about actually is religious orders. And you may encounter somebody who is in the, let's say, the full address or attire of, let's say, my appearance right now, or somebody who you look at or observe at the airport or whatever, where you see, hey, there's a Franciscan, either in your interpretation or definition or belief, a Franciscan priest, a Franciscan monk, a friar, however way you want to describe them. And you're happy for the moment. You might say in passing, if you're close enough, hey, Father, how you doing? And that's fine, well and good, okay? But what did you really see? Without talking to the person, you're not entirely sure. So let's clear this up. Third order regular is an individual who may belong to a third Catholic order, religious order, the most popular ones by name and reference, and there's a lot more, but the most popular ones are the Franciscans, the Dominicans, and the Benedictines, for example, okay? That's just three. As I just mentioned, there's a host more. But a third order regular, let's say Franciscan, is somebody who you would envision is attired as a Franciscan priest, and who may spend considerable time, let's say, at or near a monastery and living in community, following the values and the rules of that particular community and order at the monastery, doing the religious works and charities that they normally attend to in their ministries and such. And that's fine. In fact, that's the image and belief that most people have when they encounter somebody dressed in that way. Now, third order secular is an individual who may be closely affiliated with that same order, dressed the same way, who is not living in community, but who may also be married and living out the rules and beliefs and doctrines of that same order in his or her own community, in his or her own household. And they're an individual who obviously is strong in their beliefs and wanted a closer connection to those spiritual works and charities by stepping out a little bit more in the persona of a friar, a monk, a priest, to do those good works. Now, they're not impersonating at all, and I don't mean to suggest that. It is a regular thing. And so they are doing their spiritual works, their ministry, whatever it may happen to be. And that is, the purpose of this video is to shed some light on it and to let people know that such things exist. It's a good thing. What's also interesting is backing up a little bit, that individual, that friar, that priest, that monk, the Franciscan, the third order regular who lives at the monastery, he, just because he's dressed that way does not mean that he's an ordained priest. He may or may not be. So somebody who's third order regular may or may not be a priest, and that may or may not be their goal. If it is, then they can go that way. In the third order secular, they do not rise to, let's say, the clerical level of being or ordained, and that might not be their intention. So the third order seculars is set aside by the Catholic Church for the laity, and it gives them an opportunity to do spiritual works of charity in the ways that they feel called to do it, with some guidance and limited supervision by the order that they belong to. Speaking on it further, there is also for the women, the orders exist for them as well, and so they would be referred to as sisters of the same order, whichever one that we're talking about. Now, what's interesting here further is the ability of these folks to do the good works that they do. Instead of taking a vow of ordination, it's more like a ceremony of promise to live up to the expectations and the rules of that particular order. And so they go about their life that way with a stronger connection to the spiritual works that they believe in and have been allowed to do. What's also interesting with these orders and these folks in the TOS, Third Order Secular, is that they most likely, especially the men, are not even of the level of a deacon at your local parish. The deacon would obviously have more privileges of the clerical state to do more things ceremoniously, as you would expect in any given parish. But I just wanted to bring your attention to the existence of the third order Catholics, and that's just to say third order Catholics is a little misapplied, but it helps to understand the subject that we're talking about here by grouping the discussion around the third orders. So the third orders reply to Catholics overall. Remember, the word Catholic is universal Christian, but for the most part it's people that are of the Roman Catholic faith who want to exercise their spirituality in a much stronger way connected to a religious order. And they can do that whether they're married or not, and they can dress according to the religious order that they have been allowed to and welcomed in to affiliate with. So that's just a little take on the third order regulars and the third order seculars. And you can find them just by Googling third orders, either for a particular order that you're interested in, or just do it to see how many there actually are, and drill them down, see what you can find, see what you like, and maybe it's something that you feel called to do yourself. But whatever you do, enjoy it, pray for them, and until next time, this is Joseph with the My Cross, His Grace podcast radio. Have a great day.